And would you mind starting over?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to the September 11th, 2024 meeting of the Rochester Regional Board of Review. This hearing is being held via video conference call at the following location: Greece Town Hall, 1 Vince Toffany Boulevard, rooms A and B, Rochester, New York, 14612. The time is now 9:05 and this hearing is officially open. The members of the board are, to my far left, Mr. John Limbeck, to Mr. Rick Papage, to my far right, Craig Jensen, to my immediate Mark Kavanaugh. My name is James Burton and I serve as chair of this board. We'll now hear the scheduled petitions. When you speak, please address the board and give your title and legal address so the court reporter can record information. In making comments to the board, please provide a descriptive narrative referring to your exhibits so that the court reporter can enter these into the record. For example, if you're referring to something, drawing, sharing that with the board, instead of saying north-south, you might say top of drawing, side of drawing, etc. We will now hear the first hearing, petition number 2024-0296.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and to the rest of the board. My name is Jacob Cook. Last name is spelled K-O-C-H. I'm from the law firm of Shickety Tabor. We are the attorneys for Redbird and Stockade, the property owner of 25 North Ferry Street in city and county of Schenectady. Our office is located at 800 Troy Schenectady Road, Latham, New York, 12110. Typically, I'll be upfront with the board off the bat. Typically, the petitioner, Property Pro Realty Group, Inc., attends these meetings with me. They're the property manager for the property, and they attend these meetings to answer any property-specific questions that the board may have. Alex Buell, the principal of Property Pro Realty Group, is unable to attend this meeting today. He had a medical emergency this morning that he called me about while I was driving into the office. So I'm able to answer any question. He did send me a rough sketch of the basement, a hand-drawn sketch of the basement, and I can answer any questions based off of those. And I'm happy to answer any questions, but I just wanted to let the board know that I'm operating a little bit out of the norm.
Well, thank you for that information. Before you get started with your presentation,
Sure.
We're going to read the petition into the record. This petition pertains to an existing building containing an R2 occupancy, 3 stories in height, of type 5B wood frame unprotected construction, located at 25 North Ferry Street in the city of Schenectady, county of Schenectady, state of New York. Relief is being requested from Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, provisions applicable to cellar ceilings, which states that in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. The petitioner is requesting relief from the requirement that a fire retarded ceiling or sprinkler system be provided. You may proceed.
Right, thank you. So as you just mentioned from our petition, we're looking for relief from the requirement to install the fire retardant ceilings or sprinkler systems in the basement. The reason why we're requesting this relief is because the mechanical systems, the plumbing, the electrical systems, and the water lines all run along the ceiling of the basement. And the removal or relocation of all of those systems in order to install the sprinkler system or the plaster that would be required on the ceiling would be physically impractical and very difficult to perform. And we believe that with alternative means that we can achieve the same objective of this law, and provide the same safety to the rest of the building, and notably include or achieve the prior notice that any occupants upstairs would need in order to escape in the event of a fire in the basement. At 25 North Ferry, there are fire mitigation systems that have already been installed. In the pictures that are attached to this petition, there is a, let's see here. The pictures show that there's a fire safe room that's already been installed in this basement. It's a fully enclosed room with fire retardant enclosures. Inside that room, all of the flammable appliances are located. So that's where the furnaces and the hot water tanks are located. This room has been fire retardant sheetrocked in and caulked in. There's also a self-closing metal door to that room to separate it from the rest of the basement. Also in this building, there have been installed interconnected smoke detectors, a smoke detector system, so that if the smoke detector in the basement goes off, all the other smoke detectors in the rest of the building will also go off to notify the rest of to notify the occupants upstairs to leave the building. In this particular property, I believe the door leading to the basement is also a fire retardant door, self-closing door. I'm sorry, fire rated self-closing door. But we would certainly be amenable to any conditions that this board would impose, including a fire rated door leading into the basement, and to make sure it's in this room is the room in the basement is also enclosed with a fire rated door. We routinely in these cases have agreed to the annual inspections, and we've also agreed to ensure that there is a interconnected smoke detector system. Those are not issues for my client. The last thing I'll note is I do believe there is a washer and dryer in this basement, and there is tenant storage. That's currently the case, but my client, as this is not their first application before this board, and they have from this point forward been instituting a policy to prohibit basement storage for all the tenants in these buildings, and would certainly do the same in this building. If the board has any questions at this point, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's start with the grounds for relief that you've chosen in the petition. The first one that you checked off here was unreasonable economic burden. So the board is unable to consider that as grounds for relief unless appropriate financial information has been provided to show the value of the property and the actual cost of providing client conditions. Do you have that information?
I don't have a specific quote related to this property. I do know that the numbers that were floated around were in the $5 to $10 a square foot to install the fire rated ceilings. The communication I got from my client was that given the rents in this building and what this building is able to produce as far as an economic value, that those numbers would not work out for them. If this board would need to see a particular, a detailed quote or more specifics on that, I can certainly have my client put that together and provide it to this board.
So at this time, because you're before the board, absent that information, to consider this as grounds for relief. So you've also selected inhibit achievement of some other important policy. Is there a important policy you're aware of?
So this particular building is located in the historic district of the Stockade neighborhood in Schenectady, New York. It's one of the oldest residential neighborhoods, in this part of the country. And, all of it's a row house, that is within this historic district. Any changes to this, I mean, I believe the property is on the historic register. Don't believe that that my client has issues with their financing and related to tax credits that would prohibit them to make certain changes to the building. But, this is a historic building in a historic neighborhood. And in some level, that there's an interest in preserving that nature.
Okay, thank you. For the record, even buildings that are on the state or national register or are eligible to be on the state or national register would not be subject to historic preservation regulations with respect to putting a fire retardant ceiling or sprinkler systems in the ceiling of a basement that's not open to the public. So for the record, we will not be considering that as one of the grounds for relief. So then you've got both light of alternatives and change so slight. So let's talk about change so slight. Change so slight is really intended where compliance with the code would be unnecessary because there's a de minimis benefit, if you will, providing the requirements of the code. And in this case, we're talking about life and fire safety. So don't think that we would be considering that as legal grounds unless you have some other information that you can share with the board.
I don't, Mr. Chairman. I think in this case, we're relying most on there being that these requirements would be unnecessary given the reasonable alternatives that are available.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So, I think, and obviously, when we deliberate, it back from the members of the board, but it seems to me that physically impracticable is probably a reasonable ground to consider. In light of alternatives is also potentially reasonable between the alternatives that you're offering mitigate these conditions and any other conditions that the board members might be appropriate should the board be willing to consider relief. So with that, I'll pass to the board. John, you have any questions for the
John Limbeck.
Mr. Limbeck, if you're speaking, I can't hear you.
This is John Limbeck, and one of the photographs that you provided shows a steel door in the basement, and at the top of that door, there's either a piece of tubing or an electrical wire protruding from the top of it. Not sure what that is, but it certainly wouldn't consider to be sealed.
Yes, I do see what you're identifying. I'm not sure if that is an existing defect in that door that can be fixed. It looks to me that that could be some sort of type of cushioning that is hanging down that could be repaired. We could certainly repair that to make sure that this door is a fully self-closing fire-rated door.
Okay, and I just want to make sure that that is fire rated. Sometimes we've seen doors that have had sheet metal of some sort attached to them, but they're not really a fire rated door. So
Okay,
that's just something that, you know, as a condition, I'd want to make sure that that is truly fire rated.
yeah, that would be no issue for us. Yeah, what my property manager communicated to me was that it was fire rated, but, that's the extent that I can answer that question.
Okay.
We certainly would have no issue in making sure as a condition that it is fire rated.
All right, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Rick?
No comments from Rick Pappage.
Mark Kavanaugh, just a quick question. Can you explain to me the fire alarm system, what is currently there? Is it already wired and interconnected, or is it just local smokes?
My understanding is that it is wired and interconnected, so that if the fire alarm in the basement, for example, were to go off, that the rest of the alarms in the building would also sound at the same time, that it's all one system.
Okay, and the systems in the basement are also carbon monoxide? Can't tell from the pictures.
I do not know the answer to that question. I'm not sure.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, Craig Jensen, just one quick question. I think I can read on page 3 of your application, number of dwelling units, but it's a little unclear. Is that a 7 or is that a 4 or is it a different number?
I believe that's a 7.
Okay. Thank you.
And just to note, there are no dwelling units in the basement.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wishes to speak to this matter? Okay, hearing none, close the hearing and deliberate on this matter. Let you know when we're with our decision.
Thank you.
You. Okay. We'll now reopen the matter of petition number 2024-0296 on the application of Property Pro Realty Group Incorporated, taking testimony, arguments thereon for the Rochester Regional Board. The board is ready to render their decision. This petition pertains to an existing building containing an R2 occupancy, 3 stories in height of type 5B wood frame unprotected construction located at 25 North Ferry Street, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. Relief is being requested from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, pertaining to cellar ceilings, which states that in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, ceiling of the cellar or of the lower story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. For the record, the ceiling has not been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Potential. Sorry. Cross that out. Findings of fact. Number 1, the building that is the subject of this petition is properly classified under Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York Multiple Residence Law, Article 1, Section 4, parentheses 33, as a multiple dwelling. Number 2, the building is approximately 4,431 square feet in gross area, was originally constructed. Excuse me, we have a difference between what's written here and what's written in the CEO questionnaire. Reread that second finding. The subject building is approximately 4,431 square feet in gross area. According to the public records, was originally constructed around 1795 contains 7 dwelling units. The subject building is required to conform with the provisions of Article 3 of the Multiple Residence Law as provided in Section 25, in that it existed on July 1st, 1952, or was converted to a multiple dwelling after July 1st, 1952, is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Multiple Residence Law. Number 4, Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law requires in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded, equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Number 5, the lowest story, which is the cellar, this multiple dwelling, is not enclosed with fire retardant material, does not contain a sprinkler system. Therefore, a fire in the cellar could easily spread throughout the building as noticed. There is mechanical system piping and wiring along the ceiling of this unoccupied cellar, which would make installing a fire-retarded ceiling very difficult. 6, as an alternative to compliance with Article 3, Section 30 of the Municipal Residence Law, the applicant has stated that they have installed hardwired interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detection devices interconnected from basement to each unit individually to provide early warning fire-related emergency. Number 7, the petitioner is unsure as to whether door into the basement is fire rated and self-closing. Number 8, the code enforcement official for the city of Schenectady was not present during the hearing, excuse me, but has indicated support for the granting of the requested variance. Conclusions of law. The board finds that the proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provisions for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance would entail practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted, unnecessary in light of alternatives without which a loss in the level of safety achieve the intended objective code. Wherefore is determined that the application for a variance from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, be and is hereby granted with the following conditions. Condition number 1, that the interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detection devices provided and located throughout the building as required by the current code. 2, property owners shall hire a qualified third-party independent code-certified inspection agency to test the alarm system annually, and at a minimum shall submit inspection results to the City of Schenectady Building Department. Inspection reports shall also be left on site and be readily available for inspection. Number 3, that all smoke and carbon monoxide detection devices shall be interconnected together in conformance with NFPA 72. Number 4, that any entrance door and every door to any entrance hall, stair hall, or other public hall connected therewith, including door to the basement, shall be self-closing and self-latching. Number 5, door leading to the, scratch that. Number 5 is going to read that the tenant storage in the basement shall be eliminated. The enclosure of any tenant storage spaces shall be demolished and removed. The Board of Review finds and determines that the issuance of a variance in petition number 2024-0296 will not have a significant environmental impact, not have a significant adverse effect on any significant fish or wildlife habitat, scenic resource or statewide significance, important agricultural land or area, including in an approved local waterfront revitalization program. And the Department of State shall be authorized to sign and deliver on behalf of the Board of Review and the Department of State the State Environmental Quality Review Act Short Environmental Assessment Form, indicating that no or small impact may occur in response to each question in Part 2 of the form, determining in Part 3 of the form that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental effects. Do I have a motion for approval?
John Limbeck, I'll make a motion.
Second?
Rick Pappage will second.
Mr. Jensen?
Aye.
Mr. Kavanaugh?
Aye.
Mr. Limbeck?
Aye.
Mr. Pappage?
Aye.
And I will vote aye, so the record should reflect that this matter was approved by a vote of 5-0. Furthermore, the decision of this decision is limited to the specific building and application before it is contained within the petition. It should not be interpreted to give implied approvals of any general plans, specifications, or photographs presented in support of this application. With that, this hearing is closed. Any questions from the petitioner?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Now open the hearing in petition number 2024-0298. This petition pertains to an existing building containing an R2 occupancy 3 stories in height, type 5B wood frame unprotected construction located at 43 Washington Avenue, the City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. Relief is being requested from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, pertaining to cellar ceilings, which states that every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the cellar of the ceiling or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded and be equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jacob Cook from the law firm of Shickety Tabor. We're located at 800 Choice Schenectady Road, Latham, New York, 12110. We are the attorneys for Redburn Stockade LP, the owners of the building. The petitioner, Property Pro Realty Group, Inc., is not able to join us this morning. I will do my best to answer any questions about the physical attributes of this building based on information that's been given to me by Property Pro Realty Group, Inc., and we can go from there. This property is, again, three stories, 6 dwelling units. No dwelling units are located within the basement. It was built in 1750 and is within the historic Stockade District in Schenectady, New York. We are requesting relief from Multiple Residence Laws, Section 30, and the requirement to install sprinkler systems or fire retardant ceilings in the basement of this building, because the mechanical systems, including the electrical systems, the plumbing systems, and all the water servicing systems, and air purification systems are all located and affixed to the bottom of the ceiling in this basement. And removal or relocation of all of these systems in order to install the requisite plastered ceilings or a fire sprinkler system would be extremely difficult to perform and impractical in this situation, given all of the mechanical systems. We also believe that in light of alternatives that we're able to propose here, the intended objective of the code would be satisfied. That the intended objective being maintaining the safety of in the early warning for the residents located upstairs in the event of a fire in the basement. We do have some mitigation systems that are already installed in this building, and we have some conditions that we would certainly propose to this board in order for the board to feel comfortable in granting this variance. As far as mitigation systems are concerned, we do have an interconnected smoke detection system installed in this building, meaning if a smoke detector were to be triggered in the basement of this building, the smoke detectors throughout the rest of the building would also be triggered at the same time, giving the occupants the early warning in order to escape the building. There is no storage in this basement, no tenant storage, and there's no washer dryer located in this basement. I would note that this basement does not have a specific room to enclose all of the furnaces. I believe given the age of this building and the layout of the basement, the furnaces had to be located at different points in the basement. Same with the hot water system, so they were not able to install a fully enclosed room. So that particular mitigation system is not present in this building. That said, my client is open to performing any of these conditions that the board may need, including making sure that the systems are interconnected throughout the building, the annual inspections that are typically required here for through a third party inspector to ensure that the entrance doors to the basement are fire rated and self-closing, and that being the case through the rest of the building as well. There are some other reasons that are checked off in this application. I'll go through them quickly. We do believe that installing the fire retardant ceilings and or a sprinkler system in this building would be an unreasonable economic burden. I don't have specific numbers or specific quotes to provide to the board, but I do know my client has explored those options, and given the rents that this building is able to receive in this general demographic area, they're not going to be it wouldn't be a viable improvement to this building in order for my clients to keep renting it at the levels that they are. The applicant has also checked off that there's other important public policy here. I note that the board may not be able to consider certain items, but this is an old building in a historic area, and that it is part of a historic register. It is on the historic registry, and this does impact how the owner is able to or what the owner is able to do with this building. And I would note, I think item 6, a change so slight to produce a negligible additional benefit, I don't believe is applicable here. And so at this time, I would welcome any questions that the board may have.
Thank you very much. So let's start with some dialogue similar to the last hearing. For similar reasons that I explained to you a short time ago, grounds number 1, number 6 not be considered by this board. Have any objection to that?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. So in the petition, exhibit number 2, described as wired fire alarms, exit signs on every floor, smoke/CO, i.e. carbon monoxide detectors, fire extinguisher inspected annually, fire safety in place throughout the building. Can you describe to the board, please, what's meant by fire safety in place throughout the building?
My reading of that is, it's a more, it's redundant language. All the wired fire alarms, exit signs, smoke detectors, annual inspections of the fire extinguishers, those are the fire safety systems that are in place in the building.
Thank you. Any other board members have any comments on this petition? John?
John Limbeck, we didn't have any photographs of the door into the basement, so again, that'll be a condition that that's fire rated and self-closing.
Mr. Lemba, that's not an issue for us. Yeah, this would have been a question I would have directed to the property manager if he were available this morning. So I apologize for that. I don't know whether or not that door is currently fire rated and self-closing.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Rick?
Yeah, Rick Pappage, no comment or questions.
Right.
Mark, I have just one question for clarification. Is the year built? We have two different dates of 1750 versus 1850.
The information that I have is what's in this application, 1750. That's my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just have maybe a strange question. Are we sure we have the right address for this property? 43 Washington?
Yeah, that's as far as I know, that's the right address. All of my files, including, this petition show that, 43 Washington Ave is on the list.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah. What's up with my phone?
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will now close the hearing and deliberate on this matter, and we will let you know when we're ready with our decision.
Thank you.
202. Now go back on the record in the matter of petition number 2024-0298. This petition pertains to an existing building containing an R2 occupancy, 3 stories in height of type 5B wood frame unprotected construction located at 43 Washington Avenue, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from Chapter 61-B, Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, pertaining to cellar ceilings, which states that such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or the lowest story if there be a cellar shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Findings of fact. Number 1, building that is the subject of this petition is properly classified under Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 1, Section 4, parentheses 33, is a dwelling. 2, the subject building is approximately 10,260 square feet in this area, was originally constructed around 1750. Consistent with the CEO's. I'm going to correct this and say that the subject building is approximately 10,260 square feet in gross area. According to the public record, was originally constructed around 1850.
No, 1750. 1750. It's an historic marker.
But the public record indicates 1850.
Okay.
I think it is 1750. there's a plaque outside of it that says George Washington visited it before, you know, when it was still a hotel.
All right,
This is Dan Farley, the Department of State. Sometimes we do get the CEO questionnaires that have incorrect dates. In this case, I would go with what's in the application. That appears to be what I've also found online for this property.
so we'll go back and read to say the subject building is approximately 10,260 square feet in gross area. Was originally constructed around 1750 and contains 6 dwelling units. 3, the subject building is required to conform with the provisions of Article 3 of the Multiple Residence Law as provided in Section 25 in that it existed July 1st, 1952, or was converted to a multiple dwelling July 1st, 1952, is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Multiple Residence Law. Number 4, Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law requires in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Number 5, the lowest story, being the cellar ceiling of this multiple family dwelling, is not enclosed with fire retardant material, does not contain a sprinkler system. Therefore, a fire in the cellar could easily spread throughout the building before it is noticed. There is mechanical system piping and electrical wiring along the ceiling of this unoccupied cellar, which would make installing a fire retardant ceiling very difficult. 6, as an alternative to compliance with Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law, the applicant has stated that they have installed a hardwired, interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detection devices interconnected from the basement to each unit individually, provide early warning in the event of a fire-related emergency. Number 7, petitioner has indicated that the door into the basement is fire-rated and self-closing. Number 8, the code enforcement official for the city of Schenectady was not present during the hearing, but has indicated support for the granting of the requested variance. Conclusions of law. Proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provisions for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance would entail practical difficulties, unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because they would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which, without a loss in the level of safety, achieve the intended objective of the code. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for a variance from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, be here granted with the following conditions. Number 1, that the property owner shall hire a qualified third-party independent code-certified inspection agency to test the alarm system annually at a minimum, shall submit inspection results to the City of Schenectady Building Department. Inspection reports shall also be left on site and be readily available for inspection. Number 2, that all smoke and carbon monoxide detection devices shall be interconnected together in conformance with NFPA 72, and that additional heat detection devices shall be installed within 3 feet of all gas-fired appliances, and that new smoke detection devices shall be installed in each 450 square feet of the area of the basement by a New York State licensed fire alarm installer. Number 4, that the door leading into the basement shall be fire rated and self-closing. Any other conditions from the board?
Clarification item number 3, we add the word
That would be number 2. Number 2 does read, shall be interconnected together in conformance with NFPA 72. Yep, this is part of all of the smoke and carbon monoxide. How about we say smoke, heat? Carbon monoxide detection devices. Good. You okay with that language? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, I have two questions if you're ready for them.
You can bring those up when we're done reading the conditions. The Board of Review finds and determines that the issuance of a variance in petition number 2024-0298 not have a significant environmental impact, have a significant adverse effect on any significant fish or wildlife habitat, scenic resource, or statewide significance of statewide significance, important agricultural land, area included in a local waterfront revitalization program, and that the Department of State shall be authorized to sign and deliver on behalf of and the Department of State a statement that the State Environmental Quality Review Act short environmental assessment form stating that no or small impact may occur in response to each question in Part 2 of the form, determining in Part 3 of the form that the proposed action will not result in any significant environmental impacts. So before we read the board's decision, applicant has a comment regarding the conditions that have been stated on the record. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm, so with number 2, the smoke alarm, carbon monoxide alarm, and the heat detection devices would all need to be interconnected. Do I understand that right?
Yes, and we can have further dialogue when we're close the hearing.
Okay.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval?
John Limbeck, I'll make the motion.
Second,
Mark Kavanaugh, second.
Mr. Jensen,
Aye.
Mr. Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Mr. Limbeck,
Aye.
Mr. Pappich.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so the record should reflect that this matter was approved by a vote of 5-0. Furthermore, this decision is limited to the specific building and application before it is contained within the petition, should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications or photographs presented in support of this application. With that, this hearing is closed.
Barbara, can we go off the record, please?
Okay, the board will now hear petition number 2024-0374. This petition pertains to an existing building containing an R2 occupancy, 3 stories in height, type 5B wood frame unprotected construction located at 1326 State Street, the city of Schenectady, county of Schenectady, state of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from Chapter 61B, Consolidated Laws of New York State, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30 pertaining to cellar ceilings, states that in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. The petitioner is seeking relief from the requirements that a fire retardant ceiling or sprinkler system provided in the cellar of this building. And petitioner is also seeking relief from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 31, pertaining to interior cellar stairs, which states that every stair leading from the cellar to the floor above in all old multiple dwellings shall be enclosed with fire retardant partitions and shall be equipped with a fire retardant self-closing door located as the department may approve. May proceed. Is the petitioner present?
Good morning, Chairman and the board. How are you guys doing?
Good morning to you. We're doing fine, thank you.
Perfect. So, based on listening to the previous meeting that was held, um, the other two properties that were aforementioned, I feel like my case is similar to that. We,
Mohammed,
yes,
Mohammed, can you please just state your name and address for the record?
oh, sure. My name is Mohammed Fakiri, and the address for the property is 1326 State Street in Schenectady, New York.
Yes, sir, you need to state your legal address, please.
Oh, my legal address is 27 Arrow Street in Schenectady, New York, 12304.
Okay, you were saying?
Yes, um, I feel like I have a similar case to the two prior cases that were gone over. Um, we have interconnected combo alarms, carbon monoxide, and smoke detectors throughout the whole building, in the basement, in the hallways, in each apartment. There's a double rated sheetrock fire retardant on the whole first floor. So we just feel like the strict compliance by fireproofing the basement would entail practical difficulties and unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because such would be unnecessary in light of those alternatives that which we have there. Um, so that's where what I got out of it. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me or.
Yes. So, you're aware of the fact that you've been cited for two separate violations of the law. So the second violation pertains to the stair enclosure of the basement stair. You don't say anything in your narrative about the lack of a stair enclosure or a fire-rated self-closing door at that location, or how your proposed petition intends to provide an alternative to mitigate that life safety condition.
There's a separate stairs going leading into the basement. Um, that stairway leading into the basement is fire. The ceiling is fire rated on that. Um, but the door leading into the basement, that's not a problem. We can have that changed out, and that can be a retardant door,
Are you
self-closing.
suggesting that there are two independent stairs leading from the
No,
base to the space above?
no. There's just one set of stairs leading to the basement from the outside.
So is there an interior stair?
No,
There's no interior stair.
no. I'm sorry if I'm misunderstanding. Um, there's one set of stairs leading into the basement from the outside of the building. There's not a second set of stairs that are leading to the cellar. There's just one set of stairs.
So in order to provide routine maintenance and inspection of the conditions in the cellar, you have to exit the building and then open another doorway and to an exterior stair that leads to the basement. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's only one set of stairs that are leading into the basement, and that entrance is from the exterior of the building.
Jim, can I ask you a question?
Please.
So, with regard to the door that leads to the basement from the outside, is it at the first floor level or is it at a lower level than the first floor?
It's at the first floor level, right at the side, like the side entrance of the building. There's like you can enter from the side of the building into the basement. There's just there's a door on the ground level. Ground level, you open the door and then you walk downstairs into the basement.
Do you walk down a full set of stairs, or the fact that you're at ground level, you're already partially below the first floor?
You walk down a full set of stairs.
Thank you.
And what about storage? Is there any storage in the basement at all?
No,
No storage?
No.
John, you have any questions for the applicant?
Yes, it was very difficult to look at this application without more extensive photographs of the basement, especially the stairway that you're seeking relief from. And if you look at pictures of this, it looks like there's a commercial operation on the first floor. How does that, how's that separated from the residential?
the commercial, the first floor is complete first floor, and then on top of that commercial space, that whole commercial space has a double rated ceiling,
Okay,
fire rated ceiling, and then above that commercial place, that's where all the apartments are.
okay. And you said that the ceiling of the stairwell going into the basement is double sheetrock. What are the walls constructed of on that stairway?
Um, the walls, I would have to. It's not coming to my mind right now exactly. I don't want to say something that it's not actually, you know. Um, I believe it's a brick, if I'm not mistaken, because cinder block like the brick. Those are the walls up. But again, I don't want to go on the record saying something that it's just not coming to my mind exactly right now.
Okay, all right, those are the only questions I have, Mr. Chairman.
Have any questions, Rick?
Yes, Rick Pappage. What type of commercial space is that? What are some of your typical rentals when it is
R-
rented?
I've had the space used as a barber shop before. Most recently, it was a salon. Um, Basically, you know, just like a salon or barber shop. Usually, that's what I've been getting people in there for, interested in that space for that particular kind of venue.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, this is Mark Gavin. I got a couple questions. First one is, are there furnaces in the basement? And if so, are they enclosed?
There's a steam boiler in the basement. Um, the space itself is not enclosed, no.
And then, looking at a picture of the building, on the left-hand side, it appears that there's a stairwell on the exterior. Is that the stair that goes to the basement, or does that go up to the first, or also
That-
goes up to the first floor?
That stair goes up to the first floor. It's a side entrance for the apartments, like a secondary exit, you could say. But those stairs that go up uh, are also the stairs that, you know, the entrance to the basement from the back side of it, from the back side of that door that you see from the side.
Correct. So if you go around the backside, that's how you get down to the basement?
That's correct. Yeah. There's also the carbon monoxide, the smoke, the combo interconnected throughout the whole building, starting from the basement, throughout the whole first floor, throughout the hallways and every apartment. Smoke detectors in every room, living room, kitchen, and every unit.
This is Craig Jensen. One additional question.
Yes.
Is there anything in the attic level? It's essentially the fourth floor. Is there anything going on up there?
No, no, no. To be honest with you, I haven't even found a way to get up there yet.
Do you have any questions for the applicant? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the board will go into
Hey,
deliberations.
Jim. Hey,
Yes?
Jim. We do have the code enforcement official on. I don't know. He actually wanted to be here, so I don't know why he's not speaking up.
Mute. Okay, this is Bert from Codes of the City of Schenectady. I've been having a little trouble trying to get into this meeting. I finally got able to get into it. So I support the owner of having a variance required for this property. I did check all the smoke and carbons from the apartments. The apartment doors do have self-closing hinges on them, so that's part of our code that we look for too. But everything seemed to be working as the time when I was there to do the inspections. And like I said,
Thank you very much for getting on, Bert. I have a question for you. The CEO questionnaire indicates that this is a three-family, but it says 7 units.
correct. Like the second floor has 3 or 4, and then the other floor has the opposite than what the other one doesn't have. At the time when I did the inspection, it was on the second floor and it was only one apartment at that time.
So should we list this in the record as a 7-unit building?
That's what I put on the initial questionnaire for the variance. I put in a 3-family 7-unit apartment. That's what, when you look into the file for the occupancies, there is 7 different rental units in that building.
Okay, so it's not 7 dwelling units.
No,
3 dwelling units and 4 commercial leasehold spaces? Is that it?
no, I'm understanding that there's only one commercial, which is on the first floor bottom, which is not occupied right now.
Okay, so 6 dwelling units.
Well, like I said, when I look up each occupant, there's 7. It says 7 units, so that's why I based my questionnaire on that 7-unit apartment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other board members have a question for the code official?
Yeah, Bert, this is John Limbeck. The stairway down to the basement, I asked the applicant if those walls were what the construction was. He thought they might be masonry. Do you know what they were?
Off the top of my head, I've done so many different ones. I can't really remember. I was looking at my photos and I don't really see. I'm pretty sure it's concrete, like he said. So, as for going into the cellar, like he explained, that there is some sheetrock in there, but not much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wishes to speak on this matter? Okay, hearing none, close this hearing so the board can deliberate, and we will let you know when we are ready with our decision. Okay, now, are going back on the record in the matter of petition number 2024-074. This petition pertains to an existing building containing R2 and B occupancies, 3 stories in height of type 5B wood frame unprotected construction located at 1326 State Street, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. This petitioner is seeking relief from Chapter 61-B, the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, pertaining to cellar ceilings, which states that in every such dwelling, 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Petitioner is also seeking relief from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 31, pertaining to inside cellar stairs, which states that every stair leading from a cellar to the floor above in all old multiple dwellings shall be enclosed with fire retardant partitions and shall be equipped with a fire retarded self-closing door as the department may approve. The board has deliberated and found that this petition does not contain sufficient information to permit us to verify that the petitioner is meeting the burden of duty for the legal grounds that they are seeking relief under for in light of alternatives. Therefore, the board is going to be adjourning this matter to permit the applicant to provide additional information that will permit the board to make a qualified decision at another time in the future, that the petitioner is welcome and encouraged to gather additional information and contact the Department of State, get back on the agenda at further hearing. With that, we will declare this hearing closed. So, sir, if you'll stay on the line for a minute, we'll have a little off-the-cuff discussion about what kinds of information might help the board to render a decision. I don't believe we do. Okay, Mohammed.
Yes, sir.